So let's see how this was built. Like usual, the first thing we do is declare our PHP tags. And after that, we want to declare our global constant. So again, we use the define function by PHP and just give it our constant name and give it our constant value. Next, we want to declare our class definition. So we declare our class called person. And within our class called person, we want to set up our beautiful class attributes that every object is going to have that's created, which is a first name and a last name. And we're using our private visibility feature because we only want to be able to access the first name and last name attributes within our class or by our public functions within our class. So after we do that, we go down to our constructor. We use our constructor to build a unique object, and we want to pass in two pieces of information when we create our object. That's going to be a first name and a last name, and those two values are going to be assigned to our attributes first name and last name of that object. So once we do that, we can go ahead and set up our handy dandy functions, and we use a set name function to override or reassign new values to our currently built objects. So for example, if I had an object and I named it, let's say Bobby Clark, for the default values which we put in our constructor, if I call set name on that same object and I pass in, let's say I want to call a different name saying Bobby Wilson, then I can override our current object attribute values to Bobby Wilson with the set name function. So after that, we can use our public function get first name, and we have a public function get last name, so we can actually access and get the values from our first name attribute and our last name attribute individually from our public functions of our method. So once we do that, all of that is within and defined in our class person, named person. And next we want to actually create a new object. So as we see here, we use the name person. You can call it anything you want. And we use our new word or keyword new to create a new object of the person class. And again, we pass in our two pieces of information, which is the first name and last name. So our object is going to have its attributes first name and last name assigned to Jaden Forte. Next, we want to get and display the attribute values of that object. So what I went ahead and used is some HTML code, which is the header tags h3 to display original name for the title. And we're using our default values, which is whatever we pass into our constructor, which is Jaden Forte. So it should print our first name and last name right here. And next we want to change the name. So we come down here and we want to use the set name function and override our attribute values with Joe Smith. So once we do that, we can go down and continue along with get and display attribute values of our new reassigned values for our attributes. And here I just put changed name so we can see the results. So it should display, where is it at? Joe Smith for our new first and last name. And of course we want to display our global constant. And we just used our echo statements to display our global constant as well. So I went ahead and said global constant value. And we just use the global constant name only without the $sign to retrieve its value. So that's how the project exercise 2 or exercise 3, sorry about that, was built. So good luck, guys, and hope you guys, like always, have fun.